Dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum. Oh, hey there, Tad. I didn't see ya. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, well, it's going okay, I guess, Rocky. I had kind of a bad day, so I came home. Thought I'd play some games to cheer me up.
Oh, that's too bad, Tad. Why was your day so bad?
Well, it was just school, Rocky. School and work. It's not fun anymore. It's like people forgot how it was when we had fun and we learned. You know, when we were just little guppies and cubs.
Aw, sorry to hear that, Tad. Uh, you know what? I kind of feel the same way. But there are ways we can have fun when we go to school and even when we work. We can always be playing games.
I don't know about that, Rocky. Don't you think that playing and having fun is kind of a waste of time?
Oh, no! On the contrary. I read somewhere that many patterns that are rigidly enforced in games are also the basis of general social organization, such as turn taking, follow the leader, exchanging property, team formation, and conflict containment. Gosh, all the things we learn when we thought we were just having fun.
Oh, hey, that's pretty interesting, Rocky. What else do you know about playing and learning?
Oh, lots. But don't take my word for it. Why don't we watch a video of some more knowledgeable people than me who can tell us all the ways that we can learn as we play? I mean, do you even know what play is?
Well, I don't know, Rocky. Why don't we find out?
Good idea.
Play is taking chances in a way that the consequences aren't great. So it's a way of trying things out, which then leads to learning.
Right.
Yeah, for me, there is that connection between play as developing the skills we need or the things that will help us be successful in our world. But play is fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, play is to me sort of a safe ground to mess around and try things out. Things that don't necessarily have a specific outcome or don't necessarily have a desire for outcome being the goal. Play is just really a way to try things out in a moderately safe environment. Sometimes it's a way to do things that you might otherwise do in a more structured way, but it's a way to experiment.
Play is being open to the infinite possibilities of the present moment. Life really you can look at as play. And if you understand the terms of engagement that you're playing within, then you can break those terms or modify them or laugh at them or create alternatives that people can move to. So I think, for me, playing is being aware as best I can of where I am and who I'm with and what we're doing.
You have to be having fun.
So life can be play. Life doesn't have to be separated from play.
Absolutely.
Play being games, work being not play.
Mm-hmm.
All be play.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I try to have fun in all that I do.
Go fish.
Gee, Rocky, I don't think we're playing this game right.
Well, we'd be a lot better at it if we had thumbs. But that's not really the point. Point is, we're having a good time, and I think we're learning all sorts of things. See, I told you there was lots of definitions about what play is.
Oh, well, yeah, Rocky, you're right. Play is all sorts of things. Oh, those people sound really smart.
I know, don't they just? And what's more, all of them are actually using play in their education. Isn't that neat?
Oh, well, that sounds super duper. Can we learn more about that?
Oh, you bet you can, buddy.
I'm open to the infinite possibilities of the present moment, hopefully, or as well as I can be. So, life is about routines and structures and patterns and habits. Learning is about recognizing or being mindful of those structures and habits, and then giving yourself permission to move beyond those to a new state.
I do use play sometimes, but the play that I use is often less formal in the sense of going out in the schoolyard and doing things. But what I often do is encourage people to play with ideas. So I give them opportunities to have some flexibility in what they do. And in terms of that, I really encourage students to not look for a specific answer, but to really try and test what their imagination will allow them to do. And the reason for doing that, for me at least, is because I find that students who start to reflect on their own interpretation and the breadth of their possibilities, they tend to be more deeply invested in their outcomes. And I think that play is one of the best ways to get them invested, because it doesn't encourage people to believe that there's a right answer that they have to find, and if they don't find it, that they've done poorly. And instead it allows them to start thinking more flexibly within their own sort of frame of reference to make sense of the world.
So for me, I became interested in game playing in education when I brought in the Murray article in my Digi 230 class, and where she talks about games as helping language and culture develop in humans, right? So she links games to cognitive development, which I thought was really fascinating. And so I started reading more, and I became interested in the role of ego and defensiveness, and that ego is our self-concept, and that game playing can help lower defensiveness, which can minimize the grip that ego can have on what we believe to be true. And that our egoic system is very well protected. And so if we have a belief that it can be hard to change that. And yet education has to be all about change and growth. It's not just about knowledge, but it's about our own concepts, self-concepts, and how we see the world. And that I believe that when people are playing, they're more open to different ideas, maybe even radical ideas that challenge their existing values or knowledge base.
Wow, Tad, wasn't that neat?
Oh, sure was, Rocky. That was just so cool. I hope I can take some classes with those fun people.
I know, right? That Alana lady was sure neat what she had to say about us being more open to new knowledge and possibilities because we lower our defenses when we're playing, and we lose our certainty that everything we know is right and just so. Because that's not how you learn. You learn by trying new things. Like us, building our card house. Who knew? Creatures with little mitts like us could build such complex, neat things.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty neat, isn't it? That's what happens when we try new things and we play. We learn that we're capable of all sorts of things.
You're sure right about that. Oh, well, it's okay. We can try again.
Brain research shows that our brains are plastic. We can create new neural pathways and new habits of thought that then allow us to feel differently about the world, etc. And one of the chief things that our brain needs to create these new pathways is novelty. That's one, or emotional tie-in. So novelty, emotional tie-in are two of the things. So if we can play in a new thing where you're not sure where you are, it's going to lead to your brain changing and becoming stronger. Or if you're emotionally invested, right? So that's why relationships are so important between people, and that's why the games played in relationships can be so damaging and so freeing and beautiful.
Well, I would like to add as a parent that I consciously chose not to put my kids in a lot of structured activities because I understood both intuitively and through reading that free play is one of the most important ways for kids to spend time.
Well, actually, I think the main thing that I would like to add is that the idea of play is a really good one. And I think in an educational context, there are lots of different forms of application. And unusually large numbers of possibilities usually mean that people are looking for the unique and packaged way to do it. And I think the notion of play, particularly as it's built into education, needs to be flexible. So it needs to be context specific, and it needs to be able to identify not just a one-directional or even a straightforward action and reaction or action and feedback approach. Really, there needs to be a reciprocal approach where instructors and students co-construct things. So you have structures and frameworks, and those structures and frameworks take you in a direction, but in a direction that allows for a greater degree of flexibility than perhaps some of the more formalized versions where there are what you would almost find as the instructions in on a board game or the instructions on how to win a video game. You can't win at education. You can acquire education, you can develop a series of patterns of thinking or paradigms, ways of knowing the world, but you can't necessarily win or lose. And what typically happens is that when we pre-package or we package these things as processes or as things to follow, routes to follow, then we just end up doing the same thing over again. And we have to be a little bit more dynamic and more flexible and constantly evolving, which is itself a challenge and at the same time a great possibility, a great boon for the future of education.
Well, Tad, do you think you've learned a little bit more about play?
Oh, I sure have, Rocky. I learned that it's an important aspect of education, and that it helps broaden our minds. If we don't use play, we become less attached to what we do and less open to what we learn. Play has all sorts of roles in education. I'm really looking forward to what the future has to hold, as far as games and play go in education.
Me too, buddy. Me too.